what I tell parents is initially, like I just said, kind of stand behind your kid, right? For whatever reason, your kid crossed somebody's line. They are probably embarrassed. They're probably ashamed. They might even be scared. Sometimes there's like legal consequences that are also involved, right? And so as parents, I'd say you just got to put your poker face on, swallow your judgments, and just be a safe place for them, right? That can be super hard to do in the moment, especially in situations like two that I had last week, where it involves like crime or behavior that like very clearly goes against your family's values, or a boundary issue that you weren't expecting from your child, which very often involves somebody being naked, right? And
Yeah.
parents are sort of like shocked when this happens, right? Like they took a picture of their thing and sent it over there, or they took someone else's picture of their thing and sent it to the soccer team. And it crosses a line and parents kind of get freaked out, right? And so I just remind them to breathe, right? Like Sherry, your exercise was great. I actually needed it more than I thought I did tonight, but there will be time later to process their choices, to talk about boundaries and the what the hell were you thinking conversations. Like those can all happen later. Right now, you just need to be that safe place for this, right?
Right.
They need to know
Let me
that
say, Joe, as far as that, like standing behind them, you're not saying condone their behavior. You're just saying they need your support. They
yes,
probably already know they screwed up big time and they're already going through tons of emotions. So you're standing by them as a person, as your, son, daughter, and you're not saying good job. You're
right.
saying we're going to get through this and learn from it.
Exactly. Yeah, you can support your kid without supporting their behavior, right? The other thing that, because that happens sometimes, right? Like parents sort of, go Papa Bear or Mama Bear, and they sort of dig their heels in and kind of side with their kids, and that's not always the best option. Sometimes kids really do cross some lines that shouldn't be crossed, but it also means alongside that is not to shield yourself. God, sorry, I'm so froggy tonight. Not shielding your kid from the natural consequences of their behavior, right? Which a lot of parents do, right? Zero parents want to see our kids screw up or be laughed at or ostracized or arrested, right? Detention, get kicked out of school. But swooping in and shifting the blame or deflecting the consequences, especially if they've been earned, that really prevents the kid from learning a probably much needed life lesson. I think it thins their skin. It makes them less likely to handle the next thing that comes along. It stifles their maturity. And really, especially with boys, I see this all the time, it gives them this sort of inaccurate sense of invincibility or entitlement, or both, which is even worse. And it makes it much more likely that whatever screw up they did in the first place is going to happen again, right? So we don't need to like endorse their behavior, and we don't need to rescue them from the consequences when we do this. But it really can just take one small thing to be deemed cancel worthy. It moves really quickly. And once you're canceled, like Sherry was just saying, like it can be really hard to come back. And so if that happens, kids need to know first, primarily, that it's not everybody and it's not forever, right? Even though it really can feel like that to them in the moment. It is a moment. It's a moment that'll pass. It's a moment that is 100% something that a young person can recover from, with the exception of things that are like involve death or sexual assault or violence. Like targeted cancel strikes mostly fall into kind of two flavors, which is social justice or cyberbullying, right? Sometimes a little bit of both, but either way, they tend to burn really very hot and very bright. And then they kind of burn out pretty quickly as soon as like the next social bonfire comes around, right? And so part of the game is just helping kids to kind of ride that wave, and things tend to kind of pass